Okay, so this is another 5 minutes in the morning, and this is on don't let ideas possess you. So, a lot of people have been talking recently about ideologues, people who are possessed by ideas. Jordan Peterson, a bunch of other people have expressed it much better than myself. But I always think of the example of, I think his name was Vladimir Ilyich Lenin, who was the guy who started the communist revolution. He was credited with that in Russia back in the early part of the 20th century. And this was a guy, from the very beginning, my feeling always was about this person was that he felt his ideas were worth more than people's lives.
Right.
And if you look at the record, and there's conflicting reports because we're talking about early 20th century Russia where there were no records kept possibly, but millions upon tens of millions of people died because his ideas were more important than their lives.
Yes.
And I have never ever agreed with that. And you came up with a good analogy where you said it's like if you're working on an equation. Tell that story.
I'm just saying with ideas, I feel like they should work for you, not the other way around. And as soon as they don't work, you should discard them.
Yeah.
And don't become too attached to them or possessed by them. Like a man who kills millions of people because of his idea is possessed by his idea, in my opinion, and kind of doomed to not succeed. So anyway, I had this idea where this thought of in like a post-secondary context where the first lesson they teach you, is that like when you're at the drawing board and you're working through your little equation, if you ever come to the conclusion that, I have to kill X number of people and then my equation works, you immediately stop and go back and start over.
You've made a mistake in the equation.
You've made a mistake in the equation.
Exactly.
And like, I think thousands of men that at least are supposedly great men have made this mistake over and over and over. They keep going, I got to kill these people. I'll just fudge the numbers. It's always like you should be able to come to virtually almost anything should be solvable, I think, without some huge massacre and liquidation of inconvenient people. And so I just feel like, you come to the drawing board and you come to that conclusion, you go back to start over every single time. Because you don't even have to, you can just know you've made a mistake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think any idea is worth even one person's life.
No, no, except maybe the idea of like, the safety of my children.
Well, okay, that's not an idea though. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
That's not an abstraction. That's a reality.
Okay.
Somebody's trying to hurt you, and
I
you're
see what
defending
you're
yourself.
saying.
Yeah, but I'm talking about any time you abstract. When the first abstraction is, well, I want to do this, but if these people won't do it, they're just going to have to die.
Yeah.
Well, then that's
wrong. You should start over. Right?
And some people it seems like they don't have natural internal controls or limits. It's like if you're doing some sort of a graph and you say, okay, here's the line that I want, here's the ideal line I want to follow, and here's the outer and inner limit of where, as long as it's between those two lines somewhere, I know I'm going to be okay. As soon as it falls outside that, well, some people seem to have that. I think most people seem to have some version of that naturally. Some people don't. For those people, then, who don't have that, well, how are they going to? Well, I like your equation idea. If you somehow can, we'll have to come up with some sort of a system whereby they work through their idea like an equation. When it comes to the point, and here's where people get killed, they go, I've made a mistake in the equation. I got to go back and do it from that point
That's
on.
why I said you don't even have to understand why.
No.
Just know that you've done something wrong.
But it gives those people who don't have those internal
some
controls
training wheels.
some training wheels.
Yeah.
And because it's not like I'm saying, well, we could just throw those people out. I don't throw anybody away. That's the whole point of this.
I know, that's this.
It's like when people, and I've had people say to me on, sometimes Quora and various things where I'll reply to something and they'll come back and say, well, because of your ideas, if that's what you think, then you can just be discounted. And I say, no, everybody's ideas, your ideas, my ideas, everybody's ideas is important. It isn't like we can throw people away. That isn't the point. But don't translate ideas into action until you don't kill anybody.
Yes. Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Okay, well, that's